Hey everybody, Christopher Odd here, and welcome to a playthrough for a preview build of XCOM 2. For the past little while, I've actually had the fortune of being able to play XCOM 2, and I'm actually just really excited that I can finally share it with you guys. Well, most of it anyways. A couple of quick things before we dive in, and this is really important just to understand how this playthrough is going to go. If you're not interested in hearing the important stuff, feel free to click a link on the screen that I'll put so you can skip right to gameplay. For mobile, if you want to look at the description, I'll put a link there as well. But there are a couple of things that I'm going to cover off here. So first, any of this story-based cutscenes or narratives are going to be edited out just to avoid spoilers. We'll be focusing mainly on the gameplay missions themselves, and then obviously a lot of the base management and the strategic layer. It's okay though, because we'll be using a lot of custom soldiers, including some of you guys, so we'll just make up our own story to go along with it. So that brings me to the second point, which is the character pool that I've built so far. I've included some other YouTube people that you probably recognize in the top section here. They've been involved with XCOM at some point in the past, and it's kind of like my homage to these other commanders that have done a pretty terrific job in their own right. To be fair, it was actually really fun creating some of them. I'll show you some of the ones that I think look most in likeness with their real person. But the cool thing is that some of these guys are going to show up as VIPs that we need to rescue. They could be soldiers, they could be scientists, they could be engineers. But the cool thing is, as well, is they may also be VIPs that we're tasked to assassinate. And that should be pretty fun. I've also thrown in some other characters you might recognize from previous playthroughs on the channel. Most of those are down at the bottom here. And then I've even included some people from other games or genres, as you might notice in here. So for me, this has been one of the best parts about XCOM 2 is just how these characters organically come up in your playthrough, and it's different every time, and it keeps things really fresh. I'm really loving the character pool. Just to show you a couple of interesting ones, I could show you like Northern Lion. I think looks pretty good. Gun looks legit. We've got Beagle Rush, who actually looks pretty baller. I'm not gonna lie, every time he shows up, it's like something serious is going down. Total Biscuit, obviously, tried to use some of the Axiom colors, things like that. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of how they look. Then we've also got some characters from other games. Like I've got Geralt built in here, not too shabby. Tried to get the gold eyes and everything going on. Got Yennefer in here. She's, you know, that's her, man. That's even the vibe is set with her. Zoltan, I mean, come on. So pretty happy about that. They look pretty good. And then I've got the Ninja Turtles. So there's Mikey, we've got Donatello, and they all look the same except for the colors. And then some of the returning characters from previous playthroughs, I've gone ahead and added like Mamba here. I think he looks pretty stellar. We've got Grelite, who was like the hero of my very first Enemy Unknown playthrough, so I'm glad to bring him back. And then somebody like Linus, who is you know, pretty good in his own right. So yeah, pretty excited about the character pool stuff and some of the possibilities. Now, if you guys do want to be a character, because there will be randoms that aren't taken from the character pool, I'll just replace them with you guys. And if you want to leave a comment with like a cool little backstory, and then preferably head over to the video that I'll put up on the screen now, which is all of the character customization options. And if you want to like tell me exactly how you want your character built, I'll try to recreate its likeness as best as I can, and try to make them look a little bit badass. So yeah. The third thing is, if you have any questions about XCOM 2 as we go, just let me know in the comments, and I'll answer what I can. If it's applicable, then I may even create a small video series just to demonstrate the answers to some of the questions that you might have. You might be wondering about how different skills work together and things like that. So as that comes up, I'll try to demo what I can for you guys. And fourth, like just the last point before we jump in, the preview build is on a timer. So I may build things in a different way to acquire some of the more interesting technologies or classes from what I would do in like a full-on playthrough. If you haven't heard, the 5th class is actually a Psi operative and super powerful. Like you can have a ton of abilities with this guy, and he levels up a lot differently than the other soldiers, but I have a separate video that's going over all of that as well. anyways, my plan is to have at least one XCOM 2 video per day, and that'll go all the way till release, and then we'll start with a full-on playthrough and probably some other videos when it releases. But that being said, let's get going. We're gonna do a new game. We're gonna play on Legend difficulty. I'm going to keep beginner voiceover on just so that it can explain everything to you guys as we're going, showing the subtitles. And I'm not going to go Iron Man for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a preview build. There are bugs. They're not too bad, but I don't want anything to mess up our playthrough. And the second thing, going back to the other point that I mentioned, where if you guys have questions, it would be good to be able to reload a certain scenario or map or whatever and see some of the differences or see some of the different synergies that you guys might be asking about. So we're gonna go without Iron Man for now. We're not going to enable the tutorial experience. That's something that I'm not able to show you guys, but what I can tell you is it demonstrates how they find us as the commander, and that's about it. Here we go.
Menace 1-5, we have a fix on the target. Move to place the X4 charges at the designated position.
Okay, so here we go. This is the first mission. And what we have to do is plant these charges on the monument and then neutralize all the enemy targets. We're not in a countdown, which is nice, and we're in concealment to start it off, which is fantastic. If you don't know what concealment is, basically it's a phase where you can try and set up against the Advent and strike first, which is a huge advantage that you have to take advantage of it. And if you don't, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And one of the things that I'll try and do with these mechanics is talk about some of the things that have worked for me, some of the things that haven't worked for me, and just share kind of my insights on them. Concealment specifically, I'll wait till he's done.
These guys make up the bulk of the Advent forces we've dealt with. They're disciplined and well-equipped, but their obedience makes them predictable.
Although they bear some resemblance to the sectoids first encountered during the invasion, their genetic structure now includes human DNA. They are stronger than ever, with an even greater psionic potential.
So let me just go off on a tangent for a second here and talk about what Tygan just said. He's the head of the research lab. So he has some interesting things to share from time to time. So these sectoids, they are really powerful right off the bat, and they can panic. They can cause panic. They can resurrect dead soldiers, including our own, and they can mind control. So all of that first mission are things that we have to worry about. These soldiers here, these are kind of like the sectoids of old. These are just your basic Advent soldiers, 4 hit points. Not bad, but when we only deal 3 to 4 with a weapon right now, it's questionable. They're less on lower difficulties, obviously. Now, back to the concealment thing. What I always do is I'll move my first soldier the maximum distance range of 1 move, see if we scout anything, and then I'll move my second one. When I first kind of started messing around, I would just dash on my first turn, first move every time. And what that did was put me in situations where, like, as an example here, if I were to dash around this side and have these civilians here, there's a pretty good chance that I would have been spotted and I didn't even see them. So I'd always recommend moving once and then moving the second time. So now we've got a questionable setup here. A sectoid and 2 officers. We could either try and move down here towards the monument. Our maps, we've got lots of space over here, so there could be tons of enemies that way still. I'm thinking what we try and do is isolate this left side and approach from there. The only problem is we don't have a lot of full cover, so we're gonna have to be careful of that. So let's bring Bridget in here. They do a pretty good job of dodging the detection tiles, but if you want to manually control it, you just hold control, and then you can kind of set waypoints like that. So we'll send Triss in. And then Beagle, let's see. Let's just bring you in here for now, and let's see what the enemy does. I feel like it's a bit risky to take too long to set up an ambush. And essentially what an ambush is going to be is 3 of the guys on Overwatch, one of them shooting or throwing a grenade. If we have a group tightly tight together like this, a grenade does wonders at the beginning of a turn, and you're usually able to clean them up with Overwatches. A cool little fact as well is that your Overwatches don't suffer an aim penalty during the concealment phase, so you've got to abuse that for sure. Now I'm in full cover with Park here. I don't think moving up is going to get me much better positioning. Same thing with Beagle. I may want to bring Triss over here. We're not going to have vision, as you can see. The line of sight indicator comes up beside their health when your cursor is in a location where you can attack from. We're not going to be able to do it from here, but she could be the one that tosses the grenade. So I'm going to throw her over there. And then, Bridget, maybe we bring you up behind this truck. And that way, we have everybody in full cover. And she has line of sight as well. So let's do this.
Copy that.
Let's throw everybody into an Overwatch now, which isn't going to do anything during the concealment phase unless we attack. Yeah, I think we wait. The good thing is these guys actually separate into 2 pods. We saw the sectoid, a couple officers, and then now it's 3 officers and a sectoid and another one. So yeah, I shouldn't actually say officer. These are just regular soldiers. Officer will come later, but yeah. Okay, can I hit from here? I can. That's beautiful. Does everybody else have vision? They do, and it's relatively the same percentages. So this is good. We're gonna set up our ambush. Let's Overwatch. Overwatch and Overwatch with Park. Here we go.
Heads down.
Let's go, guys.
We're busted.
Nice shot, Beegs. Oh, tough one. There we go. Okay, so we got 2 of 3. I'm okay with that.
Target disabled.
Couple promotions earned already. This is great.
They're backing up. Advance.
Oh, he's taken off. Okay, smart. Smart. What's really interesting about the enemies that we encounter, when they retreat like that, they're not just retreating waiting for us to come to them. More often than not, they join another pod. They go and find another group that we're going to kind of stumble into and probably have issues with.
Understood.
So now we're kind of in chase mode. I'm not going to go too far.
Moving out.
Because if they... Oh, wait. Oh, he didn't join one. All right. This is actually great then. I mean, we would have 4 46% chance shots. Let's try it with Triss first. See if we can get a promotion if it hits. It's not good.
Not even close.
Let's go ahead with Bridget. Feeling slightly less confident than I was 20 seconds ago. Beagle. Do it. Oh my god. It's happening.
Miss the target.
There we go. All right.
Got
That'll do. Okay. Now, we have to get a little bit closer.
Heading out.
I'm not really digging the amount of half cover that we're going to be dealing with. We do have some of these columns that we could hide behind. What I'm really hoping for is to catch a nice Overwatch where the pod just stumbles into us. Bridget, yeah, for now, grab this. And let's Overwatch a couple.
Come get
And then let's reload with Beagle.
I'm ready.
Nice thing about XCOM 2 as well is you can reload on your first action and not end your turn. So you can reload and shoot if you're going to stay in the same position.
Understood. Moving out.
Okay, this is good. We're getting close to this pillar, which could be good for us.
Affirmative. Moving out.
Move into designated position.
Okay, let's reload Minji now.
On
Overwatch.
Overwatch. Affirmative. Covering now. Movement. It's close.
We got something back there. Okay. That's an officer. Oh, Beagle, nice. There you go.
The Advent officers seem more capable than the grunts. We're not sure whether to chalk it up to training or stricter mind control.
I'll get him next
Okay.
time.
The good news is he only has 4 hit points left. The bad news is we're probably going to need to shoot him to kill him. Let's see. Do we have a shot with Triss from back here? We would. It's not
Move
ideal.
into position.
Park might be able to hit both with this grenade if I get closer. They might just be at the max kind of range of it, though. But I'm totally okay using 2 grenades to kill these guys if I need to. Let's go ahead with Minji Park. Oh, no. Found our other friends. Okay. This is probably not going to end well. Okay, we're not able to get both. It's not going to happen. So let's bring Beagle over here to at least get some full cover.
Orders confirmed. Moving out.
We've got a couple flanked, and I'd be hard-pressed not to take this shot, but let me set up first and decide how we want to do this. I think I gotta bring Bridget down here. It's half covered, but the plan is to try and kill these 2.
Move into designated coordinates.
So that's a flank as well. So I'm gonna try with Triss here. We have 1 shot. Let's just go for it. Okay, I'll take it. It's not gonna kill him, unfortunately. So we're still gonna have to use the grenade. Let's see how Bridget does here. If she gets the, if she does crit, we're in a pretty good spot. There it is.
Enemy eliminated.
4 would have been fine as well. And Beagle. Let's see. Can you hit this one? This would be just fantastic. There it is.
Kill confirmed.
And then I'm not going to take this risk. I'm going to just full on kill this guy. If we could blow some cover around there, I'll get rid of the bench and that thing,
Catch.
that light post. Now, Minji is definitely still in trouble. She's probably going to die here, but... Oh! All right. I think he's doing what I think he's doing. Yep. Reanimated.
No respite for the dead.
So we can use that to our advantage as well.
Mind control them now.
All right. We can get out of this. We can do this. We got to kill the sectoid, and then he loses the mind control. This guy dies. This guy's on Overwatch, so trying to get some damage on him would be great also. That said, our options are a bit limited here. If I move Triss over, I will have shots on all three.
Headed there now.
Not great shots. I could go for the one in front, but if I could kill the sectoid, that would be the best way to do it. This is going to be hard. I'm not sure how we're going to handle this here. I'm almost thinking, do I take the risk of the Overwatch, just try to get in close to toss a grenade with Bridget? Because I could reload here, but I'm not going to have a great shot. I'm going for it. Come on, Bridget. Oh my god. It's risky. Come on. Now what I want to do is we want to take out this column as well.
Throwing grenade.
Didn't quite get it. The fire might take it down. Let's see now. Where can I go that's going to put us in the best position to kill this guy? Sure, I could go on the other side of here. Okay, let's bring Beagle up. Or do I even really want to do that? Maybe it's better for us if I just bring Park back here. But she could also go in here and kill this guy, so it's a really tough call. Okay. Executive decision's been made.
Position confirmed.
We're going in.
Throwing grenade.
More than likely he's going to catch fire, so that's going to make our job a bit easier. But we didn't quite get the job done, so... Oh, I hate to do this. Because we're gonna leave Minji in a very compromised position here. But we need the flank, and I also don't want to catch fire. Could go here. But I feel much more comfortable going right next to him. We're gonna do it. Maybe he runs away. I doubt it, but maybe.
Nailed him. What do we got here?
And I guess let's Overwatch with Triss, see what he does. Wow. Oh, wow, Triss. Oh, wow, Triss.
Area is secure. We're not picking up any inbound contacts. Scanners are clear. -15, we have a limited window to act before Advent.
There goes the
responds.
column.
We need to get those charges planted on the double.
Okay.
Moving.
So we're gonna grab the items that they dropped. We've got an Elerium core. This is actually, these are great. There's a facility that we can build that uses these Elerium cores to give us like experimental ammo or grenades or heavy weapons. They're randomized each time. Really, really cool. And yeah,
On target position now.
that was tough. That was tough.
Menace 1-5, rendezvous at the extraction point.
Let's get out of here.
Status confirmed. Squad is clear. Detonating charge.
So I love this screen where it shows you all of your stats from the mission. I find a lot of times that dealt most damage, made most attacks, most under fire, moved furthest. A lot of times it's the same person. This time we had some variation there. Enemies killed per turn, not bad. Could have been a little bit more efficient. Successful shot percentage, really low actually. But thank God we had grenades.
Are probably still wondering what hit them. Let's keep it up, Commander.
All right, promotions all around.
Just like it sounds, our sharpshooters engage enemy targets with pinpoint accuracy from extreme range. They're also trained in pistol marksmanship for the occasional close encounter.
Awesome thing about the sharpshooters is that you can really, you can feasibly build out both archetypes, like the sniper one where you're going to stay back and provide Overwatch cover and some other really cool abilities, or the gunslinger where you're capable of dealing tons of damage. And I like to run a squad with two, one that's a really pure sniper and one that's a gunslinger, if at all possible, but we'll see how this one goes. Next up we have Scott.
Operating some of our most advanced equipment, specialists deploy robotic drones on the battlefield that can be outfitted for combat or field medic duty.
Okay, so our specialists, again, you've got two pretty obvious archetypes here, but I feel like this class of all of them has some of the toughest choices at each rank that you have to make. And I usually end up going kind of a combination of both, but we'll see how this one plays out. Next up, we've got Beagle Rush.
The Ranger serves as our primary reconnaissance unit, capable of moving independently in concealment while engaging enemies at close range.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So Slash is great. This can be built out two different ways as well, obviously, but with the scout path, it's more for stealth and kind of prolonging the concealment phase in a sense, and being able to like re-enter concealment later on in the mission, which can provide some other benefits. The assault is like your typical more damage. There's eventually like one called Shadow Step where you don't trigger Overwatch and things like that. So very versatile. I would say that of all the classes, the Ranger gets me out of the most problems. So very happy to have Beagle Rush on as a Ranger. And then Marigold, let's see, Grenadier.
Serving as our demolitions experts, the Grenadiers provide heavy ordnance delivery whenever and wherever we need it.
Very cool. So launching grenades she has that can go for a greater range, which is super helpful. Also, she carries 2 now. And then pretty tough decisions to make at each level for the Grenadier as well. But if I had to have a preference, I would say more towards Heavy Gunner. But I have some separate videos going up for each class where I'll talk about all of the different unlocks. And I'll cover it more at that point. So there's our squad. Park, Scott, Beagle Rush, and Triss Marigold. We've got an Elerium Corps here. We've got Advent Trooper Corpses, an Officer Corpse, and a Sectoid Corpse. These are all things that we're going to eventually end up spending to do different research things. Elerium Cores are amazing, as I mentioned, because once we build the Proving Grounds, we can use Elerium Cores to give us experimental ammo, grenades, or heavy weapons. It's outstanding, and it's always random, so it keeps things really fresh. So here is the here's the Avenger.
To the research labs.
You'll notice that depending on where we've landed, the background is different, which is pretty cool. Just like little subtleties like that, they go a long way just for immersion and kind of keeping things fresh. I'm gonna go into research here.
Propaganda machine working overtime. We're still seeing a steady flow of migrants heading into the cities.
I'm not sure they have to do all that much convincing at this point.
And I'm not sure I'd trade my freedom for a few hot meals and the cure for the common cold.
Well, maybe not. But what about the terminally ill, the elderly, or the disabled? The aliens can offer them something we can't. Something most people would trade anything for.
You're wrong about that, Doctor. We can offer them freedom, even if it means they have to endure the pains of being human.
I just hope they see it that way.
Some of the interactions between those two, it's really, really insightful. I'm going to go into the research lab here. There's probably going to be a cutscene, which, reminder, I'm cutting out all the cutscenes just to avoid any story spoilers. But let's get into it. Okay, now similar to how it worked in previous XCOM games, the more scientists you have, the faster your research goes. Currently we have none, and we'll be looking to acquire some in the future. Now, having our first research choice be between modular weapons, hybrid materials, or alien biotech, there's not an easy answer. Modular weapons will unlock the weapon upgrades that we will find in the battlefield. Like, we might find scopes, we might find repeaters, we might find different things that we can attach to our weapons. So that's pretty cool because it's a nice boost that all of our soldiers can use. Hybrid materials will unlock a nanofiber vest and then unlocks further armor research. And then alien biotech, this will actually just let us be able to study some of the corpses that we found. So these are all really good. I think for right now, I'm gonna go modular weapons to get that going. That'll also unlock the research for magnetic weapons, I believe.
Area of research to be among the more intriguing options available. We'll begin work immediately. I'll send word when a complete report is available.
I will be doing some research around psionics, which starts with the sectoid, but I'm gonna need like Elerium cores and some additional funds before we can even build the necessary psionics lab to be able to create some of these super soldiers. So I will be doing that. We'll just have to prioritize staying alive for a little bit longer.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area. Commander, one of our resistance contacts just tipped us off to a site that may be worth investigating.
Okay, this is nice. We get a supply drop right off the bat. Sometimes we get drops. Other times we can just scan at base, and when you scan at base you get a little bonus. Whatever this is listed under here, it says gain intel right now, so that if we were scanning, we would just slowly over time gain intel, which is something that we use to connect with other territories and something that we use at the black market to buy gray market goods, or black market goods in this case. So the nice thing is we have supplies up here, which is essentially currency. So I'm gonna go and spend the time scanning up here for now until we are able to branch out and start connecting with other territories.
Commander, the Avengers' remote scanning capabilities will help us search the area for clues or other resources. It's going to take some time though. We've got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, we do. So let's start the scan. It takes 4 days.
Strategic resource located.
Okay, so we got 48 extra supplies. In spring of 2015, human military forces engaged one of the first alien battleships in the skies over this area. The civilian populace below was devastated during the ensuing battle. We deployed teams to sweep for possible salvage, and they returned with a number of resources found scattered throughout the area. One of the things I love is there's all these random little tidbits just to kind of flesh out more of what's happening and how people are feeling. We also have another rumor come in here. Members of the Resistance in West Asia have brought us reports of activity that we may want to investigate. So if we investigate this, we're going to get a scientist. We absolutely need to do that. Anytime we can get a scientist or an engineer, almost over anything else, I would prioritize that. Even supplies, depending on the situation. Modular weapons should be done here.
I could have predicted this outcome, though it is intriguing.
So now we've got weapon upgrades available, so we can attach any of the loot that we find or buy or make, and we have magnetic weapons available to be researched, which is kind of our next next kind of weapon in the tech tree. So researching the Advent modular weapons has allowed us to reverse engineer their system for our own use. Any weapon upgrades found in the field can now be attached directly to our soldiers' weapons to provide tactical bonuses. I'm trying to show you guys as many of these screens as I can, just because I know some people will be interested in that. So now we've got magnetic weapons, which if we do this will take 55 days. Obviously not the desired approach. So I think at this point what I'll do is research the... Let's do hybrid materials.
Assumed you'd make that research a priority, Commander. I'll notify you as soon as the report is available.
We're not going to be able to get there anytime soon, but if we can get to some of the different armor types that are available, they're really, really helpful. But it looks like we need to go to engineering now, so let's do that.
There's room for us to expand our facilities on board the Avenger, Commander, but we'll need more engineers to clear out space for construction first.
Okay, so this is a really interesting take on how we're going to build out our rooms here. I'm just going to point out a couple of things. We have an empty spot up here, which is great. We can start building something. We've got alien debris, alien machinery, and an exposed power coil. These are the 3 different types of rooms that you're going to see besides the empty rooms. And what we need to do is we need to clear out adjacent spaces to the one that we own. That will then empty it, but also give us a small reward. So you'll see here, if we clear out this alien debris, because remember, in this story of XCOM, we've taken over the Avenger. We've commandeered a ship, and so now we need to clear it out and make it our own. So we could get 140 supplies here, or 115 supplies here. Now,
Commander, I'm going to need more help on the engineering team before I can start clearing out some of these other rooms. We should recruit an engineer.
So just to her point, there's not a whole lot that we can do without an engineer. We can start a facility being built, but it's going to be really slow without staffing an engineer there. Once we get an engineer, we can't just go and clear out any of these. As you go down as well, these take longer to unlock in terms of time. So it's probably best that we do this one once we get engineers. But let's see. We could start with a guerrilla tactics school. Might not be a bad idea. Build time 28 days. If we have an engineer, we could increase that speed. But yeah, I think for now I'm gonna do guerrilla tactics school. What I like to do is build a workshop early on. And what happens with a workshop is if you permanently staff an engineer there, it will provide you 2 gremlins that can go to adjacent tiles and staff them for engineer bonuses. It'll all make sense once we get more into it, but really what you want to do is you want to put your workshops kind of in this middle area as best as you can so that it can staff all of the adjacent areas around it. I'll probably end up trying to do it here or maybe here, we'll see. But for now, we are going to build the guerrilla tactics school and get that going.
On the new facility right away, Commander. I'll send word when it's up and running.
Guerrilla Tactics School will unlock some of our squad upgrades, like additional size and some of the abilities that affects the whole squad. Okay, so let's keep scanning and try and get to the scientist here.
Commander, as the resistance
here we go.
continues to grow, we'll have a better chance of finding openings to strike back at Advent. As it is, we've already identified a potential target to disrupt the aliens' operations in this region. Our window of opportunity is limited, so we'll have to move fast.
Okay, so we've got guerrilla ops, and now we can make the decision, like, do we want to leave where we are right now and go to take on the guerrilla ops mission, or do we want to stay where we are, finish what we started? And the argument could be made that it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to fly to the guerrilla ops location here, which is to the north. We're also going to get an engineer for this, so this is going to be huge. We have to hack the workstation on an Advent train, so let's head there. Watch the time here, it's 2 a.m. And just to fly here takes about 4 hours, right? And you might think, well, that's not a big deal, but if you spend a lot of time flying around the country or the continent or the world, and you're not being efficient with the way that you move your ship, you actually do lose a lot of time, so you have to kind of plan that out before you go. Remember, if you guys want to be one of these soldiers, feel free to use the character customization video that I put out a while ago. I'll put a link here again, and you can tell me all of the options you want me to use and come up with a cool little backstory, and then there's a chance that I'll put you in here. I think that would be a ton of fun. So hopefully you guys can do that. And last thing, just before we go, guys, just a reminder, if you have any questions, please leave them below and I'll try to answer you as best as I can. Or if it warrants a separate video, then I will do the video to show you the answer to your question. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you could give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Other than that, hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.
The world you once knew is no more.